Good morning, guys. What's up? Welcome to the live stream. There's going to be a press conference coming up. I guess Trump is holding a press conference. To deploy the National Guard in D.C. Oh. To combat homelessness and crime, I guess. Crime. Or stop the crime. Good morning. Let me play this news clip here. Hope you guys are doing all right. Hope you're doing good.
The D.C. National...
We're going to have to federalize and run it the way it's supposed to be run. We're looking at D.C. We don't want crime in D.C.
We should govern D.C. I think the federal government should take over.
Fox 5 News alert as President Trump has been talking about a federal takeover in the district for weeks now. And this morning, the city could see those words turn into action.
Yeah, he's expected to make an announcement to cut down the violence in the nation's capital. Our Melanie Olnwick live in Southeast D.C. with the latest details on what we're expecting later this morning. Mel?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, and look, it is a lot of speculation. People thinking that perhaps the next tool in the president's box is calling in the D.C. National Guard. But his Trump post on Truth Social was a little rambling, too. He said it wasn't only going to be about crime and murder, but about cleanliness and general physical renovations, talking about the renovations of the Federal Reserve as well. So, I guess it's anybody's guess, really, what this announcement is going to be about. But officials in D.C. are bracing for possibly a call-up of the D.C. National Guard. But Mayor Bowser says, her office will continue working with the president on what she says are shared priorities. Now, Saturday, we did see more federal officers in the Navy Yard area. The White House saying about 450 officers were deployed to, quote, every quadrant in the city. No data on their results yet. We did see them in the Navy Yard. There was another.
Yeah, I thought there was something happened. Was there a fight or a shooting?
Another extended juvenile curfew enacted by D.C. police chief. But one teen was arrested after there was a large group of juveniles gathered there on M Street. D.C. police say that a teen shot a gun toward the group. In addition, we're told the FBI is now assigning officers to night patrols in the city. And as far as the National Guard goes, Mayor Bowser says that would need to be carefully coordinated.
They're not law enforcement officials. These are men and women who leave their families to serve our country, and that is just not their primary role, to enforce local laws. So I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned about them not being used efficiently, and I just think that's not the most efficient use of our Guard. But as I said, that's the president's call.
Now, we have seen National Guard troops in D.C.
So, man, is this going to be big? Is this going to be another huge protest? He's about to do a conference addressing the whole situation. National Guard, supposedly going to order the National Guard. I think there's some protests happening right now, actually, too.
Our city. We're gonna get going shortly, y'all. We want to thank everybody for coming out. In a couple of minutes, we want everybody to fill in the spaces, because we know where there's people, there's power, and we want them to know that we're here and we ready, we coming, and this is our city. Whose city?
Our city.
Whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city. Free DC.
Free D.C. Oh.
Free D.C. Free D.C. Free D.C. Free D.C. Free D.C. Free D.C. Protect home rule. 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 Protect home rule.
Yeah, that sign says free the Epstein files. Ooh.
Protect home rule. 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 Protect home rule.
Rise and shine.
DC!
You think so, Peter Thiel? Oh, love.
Hi. My name is Kaya Chatterjee. I'm the executive director of Free DC, and we're here this morning because Trump is trying to take over DC.
Take over DC.
That's right. Right behind us, he's having a press conference, and he wants to assert more of his authority over DC, and we are here to say he can't have it. Say it with me. He can't have it. He can't have it. Trump can't have it. Trump can't have it. DC is our home. We are just some of the hundreds of thousands of people who live here in DC. Our communities are joyful. We are powerful, as you can hear. We deserve dignity. Yes! We are multi-generational families. We are the hopeful future of our youth, our children, our babies. We are workers. We are neighbors. We are people of every age, every race, every ability, and every faith. And together, we work year over year for our shared future, including today. On behalf of DC communities, I'm here this morning to say that nothing Trump is doing right now is about our safety. That's right. If Trump cared about our safety, he would stop mass firings of federal workers. Taking away our jobs, our families' jobs, that isn't safety. If Trump cared about safety, he would stop kidnapping immigrant neighbors. Because terrorizing people, terrorizing families is not safety. If Trump cared about our safety, he would fund Medicaid. He would fund schools. He would fund SNAP. Because people being sick, out of school, and hungry is not safety. If Trump cared about DC's safety, he would make DC's prosecutor accountable to the people of DC. So that they were listening to local leaders. These are the leaders, our local leaders, our communities are the ones who have reduced crime to a 30-year low. A 30-year low this year.
So the mayor's claiming the DC mayor disputes claims of crime surge, citing they're saying a 26% drop in violent crimes this year. I don't know. So we're gonna see. We're just waiting. I just popped in this morning. I'm actually really tired and sleepy. I was up late. I was up early. School, first day of school, back to school, and I'm gonna be probably moving soon, very soon, maybe as soon as this coming weekend. So I'm really excited about that. It's a huge place. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if this weekend. I'm gonna try to aim for this weekend. But I'm stoked. Might be a new computer layout. Might be a new backdrop, everything. Place that I really wanted. So I'm excited for it. But here I am. I was gonna take a nap, but I was like, you know what? I'm just curious to see what's up with this DC stuff, and I wanted to check in with you guys for a little bit this morning. Mandy, thank you for the 32 months. People are delusional, crazy crime there, but hey, it's okay. Let's just complain about other things. Hoax! So yeah, I don't know. I was kind of curious to see, because supposedly now Trump might send the National Guard. Let me see here what they're saying here. Trump is set to deploy the member of the National Guard to Washington, D.C. in response to what he claims is an out-of-control problem with street crime in the nation's capital, which is not supported by official figures. No official statement on the use of National Guardsmen has been issued, but the president is expected to announce that up to several hundred District of Columbia National Guardsmen to be sent to support the law enforcement. So if that's what he is, some people speculate that's what it's going to be, particularly this press conference, that maybe he's going to make some type of announcement, I guess. He's supposed to announce something. 10 a.m. Eastern. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know if people are going to get really upset. Are they going to take to the streets? I don't know what's going to happen out there. National Guard. Let's listen a little bit. I figured too Trump was probably going to be a little bit late. He's always kind of, I don't know if always, but he usually starts kind of a bit later. I figured 30 minutes to an hour. I probably could have taken a nap and came back later, but oh yeah, and Trump said that Washington will be liberated today. Oof, what is that? I don't know. People, oh my God, liberated! Washington, D.C. will be liberated today. Crime, savagery, filth, and scum will disappear. Whoa! I will make our capital great again. Uh-oh. The days of ruthlessly killing or hurting innocent people are over. I quickly fixed the border. 0 illegals in the last 3 months. Really? 0? Damn. D.C. is next. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Liberation Day in D.C. We're taking our capital back. Wow. So it's kind of huge. It's kind of a big deal, I guess. You know, I don't know. I wonder how the locals feel about that. Crime is everywhere. Yeah, crime is everywhere. I don't know. Well, now they say if you take naps, it's a sign that you're going to die early or something. So saw some articles, some research. I guess naps are bad. It's better you don't rest, I guess. Now, I think naps are good too. Sometimes I think sometimes it revitalizes you. You could be tired as hell, you know, struggling. Take a little nap, wake up. It's like a reset.
Because education is the best path out of poverty. But Trump has disseminated programs at the U.S. Department of Education that is preventing this from happening. Food. We know we need food. Because you can't learn when you're hungry. But Trump has gutted funding for SNAP. We know we need health care. Because you can't thrive if you're sick. But Trump is dismantling Medicaid funding for thousands of D.C. children. D.C.'s young people have a bright future when we support them. I know this as with Black Swan Academy, having the privilege to work with thousands and hundreds of young people all across D.C., and I'm so excited to be able to introduce you to one of those bright spots, Marcus Williams. Can we give it up for Marcus?
Come on, Trump. We'll go all morning.
Hello everybody. My name is Marcus Williams. I'm a youth organizer with Black Swan Academy, graduate of Anacostia High School, and incoming freshman at Morehouse College. Today, I will be speaking out against the harsh reality of what some people believe will change and reform our city for the better. Growing up in DC, specifically Ward 8, it was hard, and I do want my community to be free of violence, but simply locking people up is not the answer.
Yeah, lock them up. I'd say lock them up.
History has proven that. True safety is not about increasing police presence. It's making sure every person has the resources they need to thrive mentally, physically, and emotionally. In honest words, has anybody ever stopped to wonder why the violence in these neighborhoods are happening? People talk about reforming and building a new DC instead of trying to solve and fix the issues of DC already. And firstly, how can you change or reform a place when the residents of DC did not elect you? DC is our home. It is my home. The people of DC deserve to be heard, and our needs must be addressed with our own communities and with local elected officials. We have the power to represent us. Secondly, back to the topic at hand, the new DC with these harsh laws, like being charged as an adult at 14. 14?
Yeah, some of these kids are bad as hell. Yeah, you gotta charge some of these kids and the parents.
Your brain doesn't even fully develop until 23 at most times. And you think charging a young child at 14 as an adult will make DC better?
Yes.
Youth already go through a lot, especially with mental health, and we also don't have enough resources as it is. And your first idea of a way to make a new and better DC is by making a law that hurts young people. A law that creates fear in the young community, especially in the Black community. African Americans as a whole have suffered specifically from police violence, and you want us to make it easier for Black youth to be even more criminalized or labeled as.
Thank you for the 5. These people need to go to work. It's Monday, and they're instead complaining about not getting handouts. Thank you for the 25 months, Rachel. My baby started kindergarten today. Oh, man. All right. Kindergarten. How's that? Maybe nerve-wracking a little bit, right? Probably a little bit. Nerve-wracking. Let's see. What are we at? We had 16 minutes, 10:16. Waiting for Trump. I'm just curious to see what's going to happen. I'm assuming maybe he's going to announce this National Guard thing. There's multiple news networks live streaming this. Okay, and the White House page is live. I just want to see what what he's going to say, what Trump's going to say, and what's going to be the aftermath. Are people going to be really upset? Probably. The DC takeover. We missed a chase last night. So there was a chase involved 3 more carjacked vehicles. One of the carjacked vehicles was the big rig that went the wrong way on the freeway. Suspect got out of the big rig and carjacked a white truck. Eventually, the white truck came to a slow crash, but no one was in it. Therefore, abandoned before the crash. Seems like they got away. Wow.
This vehicle. So I don't know what the plan is right now. This vehicle. So I don't know what the plan is right now, but you can see people trying to get on the freeway right now, and they have a semi coming directly at them.
Eliana, it's just so frightening when you watch something like this.
This vehicle.
Wow. So they're out there in D.C. protesting right now. What's happening? National Guard. I wonder if it's gonna get crazy like L.A. or not. Damn.
We'll never be defeated. DC United will never be defeated.
All right, next up, we have Sam Epps with us, the president of the Metropolitan Washington Council, AFL-CIO.
Thank you, and again, Marcus, we wish you the best at Morehouse, and we look forward to you becoming a leader here in D.C. Again. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, D.C. My name is Sam Epps, and I'm the president of the Metropolitan Washington Council, AFL-CIO. We are a council of more than 150 local unions who together represent 150,000 workers in D.C. and in Maryland. Our movement includes restaurant workers, firefighters, teachers, electrical workers, construction workers, and many other industries that make D.C. run. Trump's attacks on federal workers has hit D.C. region harder than any other place in the country. The federal government and affiliate industries are the backbone of D.C.'s economy. More than 50,000 D.C. residents are employed by the federal government, about 13% of all jobs in D.C. By comparison, federal jobs are 1.9 of all jobs nationwide. And if this president really cared about safety in D.C., he wouldn't be spiking unemployment rates here in D.C. If Trump cared about safety in D.C., he would reinstate all fired federal workers today so these workers can provide for their families. If Trump really cared about safety in D.C., he would respect the collective bargaining rights of federal unions so that D.C. workers can...
Everyone will love my second question today that I'm going to ask the president. You're going to love it. Everybody in there will love it. Go fly.
Mr. Trump, man. Trump. Let's see how you guys are doing in the chat. It was a good chase. Was it long? Yeah, true. Alt of my alt. Alt of my alt. It's a funny name. Still waiting. I had a feeling it was going to start a little late. It's going to be a shit show, probably, if he calls the National Guard.
No peace. Take it to the streets. This all DC. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets. No justice. No peace. Okay, y'all. But the key is take it to the streets. This all DC. If we don't get no justice, they're not going to get any peace. My name is Nene Taylor, N-E-E-N-E-E-T-A-Y-L-O-R. I'm a co-founder of Free DC Project, and I'm also the executive director and co-founder of Harriet's Wildest Dreams. The only violence that's happening in DC right now is the violence against our communities that this president is directing. For 4 nights straight, the president has been trying to provoke violence here, right here, in the black communities and in the brown communities. Having ICE kidnap our neighbors, having the black community be harassed and profiled and want a response. We say, hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go. We won't go. Hell no, we won't go. When we say we won't go, that means we're not going to those mass incarceration, into their prisons and enslavement. We won't go into their ICE, what do you call his beautiful centers that he got. We won't go to where alligators live. Hell no, we won't go.
Alligator Alley. Alligator.
Hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go. Today we gather to speak plainly about policy paths that sound strong, but in truth, it weakens the very safety we seek. We believe there is a better way to protect us all. One that respects rights, to build trust, and keep our communities truly safe, and that is fascism free. Free is not a roadmap for safety. It is a burial. It fails hardest on the black communities that already we bear a disproportionate share of surveillance, stops, and forces. I want to be clear, we've been here before. This is a long history. Well before today, the black communities bear the brunt of aggressive policing. Data and reports.
That Hill guy is cloud chasing. He's only ever commented once. This live chat, I can see his whole history. Cloud chasing for attention. So disappointed. I don't care. Think I care? Bye. I've been here since 1,000 subs. We've never seen you, man. Come on. Come on, man. Milwaukee took a major slap.
Going on here in Wauwatosa right now. This bridge is experiencing some pound.
Police have been enslaving and murdering black people with freedom for punishment for centuries. I stand in front of you today with a signal to the residents of D.C. and the country.
Hey, Lise, good morning.
That we will not be idle as oppressive structures try to harm our communities and take power. The fight for black liberation and the liberation of all people will not stop no matter our oppression, intimidation, manipulation tactics. We have the right to demand respect, to protect ourselves, and protect each other. And as the executive director of Hers Water Streams, I want to name, white people's civil rights have never been in danger because they are white. The white civil rights represents the desire from the Jim Crow. Full stop. At Hers Water Streams, and as we support Free DC, we're fighting against mass incarceration, policing, ICE, violence towards immigrants and Muslims, violence in Palestine.
I was watching the speed dating thing on TikTok. It's really entertaining. The speed dating stuff, people get on this panel, they speed date, whatever. And yesterday, there was one, it seemed like for people on the spectrum, you know, it was like kind of like people like back to back, whatever. And so one guy comes on, he's a white guy, and he's just like, you know, and I guess he had some type of disability or I don't know. And he's like, oh, you know, I prefer white girls. As soon as he said that, the whole oh no, we don't do that here. We don't do that here. I was like, damn, yo, they attacked it. He was like, he didn't understand what was going on. No. And he got kicked off the panel. We don't do that here. I was like, damn. So what's if that's his preference? That's his preference. What's wrong with that? I was just fucked up. And so they kicked him out. He didn't understand. He was like, what did I do? Whatever. Like, what was wrong? They kicked him off because they were so afraid. But anytime I see somebody else, say it was a black person who came on and said, I prefer black people, they would never, somebody came on after that. He's like, oh, I want my black queen. I prefer my black queens. They didn't say nothing to that guy. That guy wasn't handicapped, though. They didn't say nothing to that guy. But the other guy, the white handicapped guy, they kicked his ass off, tossed him to the side just because of his preference. You know, so there's a clear difference. You're not allowed to say certain things or have certain preferences if you're one skin color, but if you're anything else, it's okay. Man, they kicked that guy to the side. I couldn't believe it. I was pissed. I was like, so what? Who cares? No, we're not doing it. We don't do that here. No. Like, what? It was crazy. I think the panel was on the spectrum. That guy was. I think that guy was perfectly fine. I couldn't believe that shit. I was just, oh, wow. But speed dating is really interesting to me. It's actually kind of funny sometimes. Some of them are actually interesting. Some of the funny things that go on there, on the world of TikTok. I didn't like how they did my man. They tossed his ass. They kicked him off the panel so quick. I don't know if there's some type of TikTok rules or something. He was gone, man. He legit didn't know what he was saying or doing. Like, he was just wondering, like, what did I do? What's wrong? He was just saying. It wasn't like he was nasty about it. He was just saying that, you know, that's what he likes. Speed dating on TikTok. Form a real relationship. I had a feeling. I knew Trump was going to be out. I'd say Trump, usually with these things, 30 minutes to an hour, probably. Come on. Later. I mean, who knows? Anything could happen. Something could have came up. wonder what's going on with that virus in China, the mosquitoes and stuff. Check for some updates on that. Kick them out. Get out of here. No good. How dare you? No, that speed dating thing, that's to me, I would do that as fun. I wouldn't take that speed dating thing seriously, like to find somebody on there. It's almost like watching a reality show. Or some type of like Love Island or something. It'd be fun to go up there probably just to mess around. The AI Trump robot. Yeah, where's Trump at? Oh, there was some lady that was going crazy the other day on that speed dating thing. I think she said the N-word. She was a white girl, a white lady, older lady. She was actually kind of nasty. She was a little vile, but she said she had dropped the N-word, and it was like a black host and a lot of like mixed people and stuff in the chat or whatever. And so, but I really think she was on something. I think she was like drinking and maybe on pills or something. And so they got upset with her. And she's like, I'm sorry, I apologize. But she just kept repeating it over and over. And I have mixed kids. I guess she felt because she had mixed kids, she got a pass. But they said she don't get a pass. She thought she had a pass. And so she just kept apologizing. And people were like, yo, it seems like she's on something. She started crying, a whole breakdown on TikTok Live. I was like, wow. I'm sorry. I have mixed kids. They booted her ass. She got out of there. Nobody wanted to date her either. Nobody. They kept coming up patrolling her. Nobody wanted to be with that lady. She was kind of vile, though. She was nasty. I never saw her again. Sent to the depths of TikTok. Love Island. It's early, man. Are you everybody's kids in school now? The kids in school. Some people start next week. Some people already been going to school. Yeah, it sucks that I missed last night's chase. I probably would have got up for it because I really, honestly, I didn't sleep good at all last night. I don't know what it was. I think it's just like the anticipation of school. Even though I'm not going, I'm just dropping off my daughter. But it's just like all the stuff, the moving, all the stuff on my mind. So last night, I didn't really sleep good anyway. And then waking up super early. I probably could have did that chase. I really think I went to sleep like at 1, and I think the chase was at 2. Go figure. I wonder if there's any updates on Giovanni. Heller. Cousins under investigation, ? A lot of people saying look at the cousins, but I don't know yet. I mean, I think you have to look. From an investigative point, you have to look at the cousins, at least question them. There's no way you can't just, to come to a conclusion, you have to talk with them. Bridget Petlier angrily stated that a private investigator, not the authorities, found her son. That's the other thing. They're saying police didn't find his body. Supposedly the family said they did. Apparently a private investigator found his body in Florida. Weird story. For those that don't know the story, his family, his mother and the mother's fiance and him were visiting Florida from I forgot what state, North Carolina maybe. They're from another state, and he wanted to hang out with his cousins that he never met before from the father's side of the family. His father's incarcerated, and the cousins came like at 1:30 in the morning to pick him up, and I guess less than 20 minutes into the ride, they were smoking weed, and less than 20 minutes into the ride, I think the cousins claimed that he went crazy and pulled out a knife, and so I guess they left him or abandoned him, and the next thing you know, his body's found in this retention pond. I don't know, weird story. Weird. No, I heard about the missing boy. It was a boy, right, in Kentucky. I haven't covered it yet. I might. He hasn't been found yet. I don't know much about it, but I heard there was a missing boy in Kentucky. Gotta mix in the missing people when we can. There's Trump. All right. And Patel. Bondi. Pam Bondi. Is that who's that? Is that the news reporter? That lady in red? Is that Fox News reporter? I forgot her name. And then Hexeth. I don't know who the other two guys are. Yeah, they said that he pulled out a knife, supposedly. I don't know what these kids are smoking nowadays, man. You know, you got the spice. Somebody said I was victim blaming. Somebody left me a comment. I wasn't victim blaming. I was just talking about all the possible scenarios. Kids are smoking all kinds of stuff, weird stuff. Or laced.
Wow. I've been up here a lot. I've never seen a crowd like this. I think we need a ballroom, and that's happening. It's going to be a beautiful ballroom. This is really a lot of people, most I've ever seen in this room. And we're here for a very serious purpose, Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening, and they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it, too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now. The murder rate in Washington today is higher than that of Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, some of the places that you hear about as being the worst places on earth, much higher. This is much higher. The number of car thefts has doubled over the past 5 years, and the number of carjackings has more than tripled. Murders in 2023 reached the highest rate probably ever. They say 25 years, but they don't know what that means because it just goes back 25 years. Can't be worse. Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. and we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it. Just like we did on our southern border. Nobody comes through our southern border anymore. 3 months in a row, we had zero. I don't know if that's right, but the people that do the work, it's a very liberal group of people, actually, and they actually said zero for the last 3 months. Nobody thought a thing like that was possible. And, you know, when you take a look at numbers, I just saw some charts. These are different cities throughout the world. Red is... Okay, the red is a place called Washington, D.C. Look at these. Baghdad we doubled up on Baghdad. Panama City, Brasilia, San Jose, Costa Rica, Bogota, Colombia, heavy drugs. Mexico City, I mentioned, Lima, Peru, all double and triple what they are. So do you want to live in places like that? I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think the people in this room, if you wrote correctly, you'd see, look at the kind of numbers we have. D.C., 41 per 100,000, number one that we can find anywhere in the world. Other cities are pretty bad, but they're not as bad as that. Is that where you want to live? The reporters of the world? Juvenile offenders and crimes against persons, as they say. It's getting worse. Not getting better, it's getting worse. And we had a recent indication. There was a story about a man who was just left. He quit because he was asked to do phony numbers on crime. And we're going to look into that. I think Pam is going to be looking into that. But he was asked by the city, I guess, that we don't want to show the real numbers. Let me do numbers so it looks like it's going down. Not going down. And under Biden, it was a disaster. And nobody did anything about it. We're going to do things about it like you wouldn't believe. Every American has a constitutional right to be able to access and petition their government in safety, and countless federal officials and employees likewise have the right to carry out their jobs in peace without being shot. As you know, I lost a very good person a while ago, was shot waiting for his wife. He was in the car. They robbed his car. They shot him. They killed him like it was nothing to it. She was walking to the car. It's a horror show. This issue directly impacts the functioning of the federal government and is a threat to America, really. It's a threat to our country. We have other cities also that are bad, very bad. You look at Chicago, how bad it is. You look at Los Angeles, how bad it is. We have other cities that are very bad. New York has a problem. And then you have, of course, Baltimore and Oakland. We don't even mention that anymore. They're so far gone. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to lose our cities over this. And this will go further. We're starting very strongly with D.C., and we're going to clean it up real quick, very quickly, as they say. Days ago, a former member of the DOJ staff was savagely beaten by a band of roving thugs after defending a young woman from an attempted carjacking.
They got big balls.
He was left dripping in blood. He thought he was dead, with a broken nose and concussion. Can't believe that he's alive. He can't believe it. In June, a 21-year-old congressional intern was tragically killed after being hit by a stray bullet in a drive-by shooting. A former Trump administration official named Mike Gill, fantastic person, was murdered last year in cold blood in a carjacking blocks away from the White House. We all knew him. Great person. Waiting for his wife as she was walking to the car. A Democrat congressman was also carjacked at gunpoint not far from the Capitol. And in 2023, an aide to Senator Rand Paul was stabbed in the chest and head by a demented lunatic as he walked down the street, just absolutely for no reason. Horrifically, last July 4th weekend, a 3-year-old girl was shot in the head and killed while sitting in a car near the Capitol. It's becoming a situation of complete and total lawlessness. And we're getting rid of the slums, too. We have slums here. We're getting rid of them. I know it's not politically correct. You'll say, oh, so terrible. No, we're getting rid of the slums where they live. Caravans of mass youth rampage through city streets at all times of the day. There are ATVs, motorbikes. They travel pretty well. Entire neighborhoods are now under emergency curfews. Just this past weekend, gunfire went through, and you saw that, the Navy Yard. I saw it this morning. They saw that they fought back against law. See, they fight back until you knock the hell out of them, because it's the only language they understand. But they fought back against law enforcement last night. And they're not going to be fighting back long, because I've instructed them and told them whatever happens, they love to spit in the face of the police as the police are standing up there in uniform. They're standing and they're screaming at them an inch away from their face. And then they start spitting in their face. And I said, you tell them, you spit and we hit. And they get hit real hard. It's a disgusting thing. I've watched that for years, for 3-4 years. I've watched them. The police are standing, and they're told, don't do anything under any search. So and you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want. This dire public safety crisis stems directly from the abject failures of the city's local leadership. The radical left city council adopted no cash bail. By the way, every place in the country where you have no cash bail is a disaster. That's what started the problem in New York, and they don't change it. They don't want to change it. That's what started it in Chicago. I mean, bad politicians started it, bad leadership started it, but that was the one thing that's central, no cash bail. Somebody murders somebody and they're out on no cash bail.
That's crazy.
Before the day is out. We're going to end that in Chicago. We're going to change the statute. I spoke with Pam and Todd and everybody. We're going to change the statute, and I'm going to have to get the Republicans to vote, because the Democrats are weak on crime. Totally weak on crime. They don't know why. They want to stop because they get mugged too. But we're going to change no cash bail. We're going to change the statute and get rid of some of the other things. And we'll count on the Republicans in Congress and Senate to vote. We have the majority, so we'll vote. We don't have a big majority, but we've gotten everything, including the great, big, beautiful bill. Got that done, and that's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to people in this country. They're starting to figure it out, how good it is. Biggest tax cut in history. So many things. But we'll be able to get that done. So, Todd, if you and Pam can draw up things working with the people, I'll get it passed. We'll get it passed with the Republicans. Probably won't get, think of this, probably won't get one Democrat vote, because they have no idea what they're doing. That's why they want men playing in women's sports. That's why they want transgender for everybody. Transgender.
Everybody trans. We all trans.
And they just got walloped in an election, in a landslide, and they haven't changed one thing. I saw the other day the certain gentleman who was a very well-known politician, Democrat, was fighting like hell that men should be allowed to play in women's sport. They just don't get it. They said it's an 80-20 issue, and I think it's a 97-3 issue. And I don't know who the three are. I've never heard anybody nobody's ever come up to me, sir, you have to let men play in women's sports. You have to do it, sir. Nobody's ever approached me. I don't know where this issue even comes from. Never seen anything like it. But they turned our nation's capital into a sanctuary jurisdiction. That's the other thing. We have to get rid of sanctuary cities as quickly as possible. We're going to do it, too. We have to. Because it's sanctuary for criminals. Releasing illegal alien gang members onto the streets in 2022, nearly 70% of criminals arrested in Washington went unprosecuted. That's not going to happen with the group we have standing aside and standing behind me. And at the Metropolitan Police Department, it's now reached a small number relatively compared to what it was, but it's thousands of people. You know, we have thousands of police. I was told today, sir, they want more police. I heard a number, 3,500 police. That's a lot of police. 3,500. I thought they were going to say we only have 30 policemen or women. He said, we have 3,500. We need more. You don't need more. That's so many. I never heard. That's like an army. How could you need more than 3,000? It just happened 2 minutes ago. Sir, they've requested more police. Oh, what do they have? About 3,500. I said, 3,500? This is not a big area. It's ridiculous. What you need is rules and regulations, and you need the right people to implement them. And we have the right people here, that I can tell you. Look at the border. Biden said, there's nothing you can do. Kamala was the border czar. She never called one of the Border Patrol agents who are great. ICE is great. Never spoke to anybody. Never went there. But she was the border czar. And everybody said it was impossible to fix. I fixed it in 3 months. No, really. I fixed it the first week, but really fixed it over the last couple of months. And I mean, literally to a point where, as I said, 0 illegals entering our country in the last 90 days. Pretty amazing. It's time for dramatic action. We're going to do the same thing over here. It's going to be a very safe city very soon. We're not looking to take years, because a lot of people die in years. And we've got incredible people in this country, except we have to allow them to do their job. And that we will deliver like nobody's ever delivered before. I actually think it's easy. You know, if you're competent, it's easy. If you're incompetent, it's impossible. But I'm very competent. Last week, my administration surged 500 federal agents into the district, including from the FBI, ATF, DEA, Park Police, the U.S. Marshal Service, the Secret Service, and the Department of Homeland Security. You know, a lot of nations, they don't have anything like that. They got some police, and they're rough police. They don't have DEA, ATF, FBI, Park Police, the U.S. Marshal Service, Secret Service, Department of Homeland Security. They got some police, but they're rough police, and they do their job. They don't have crime. We're not going to have crime either. They made dozens of arrests, and that's what starts to happen. Again, cashless bail. Watch what we do with that. Today, we're formally declaring a public safety emergency. This is an emergency. This is a tragic emergency. And it's embarrassing for me to be up here. You know, I'm going to see Putin. I'm going to Russia on Friday. I don't like being up here talking about how unsafe and how dirty and disgusting this once beautiful capital was, with graffiti all over the walls. It's another part of it, by the way, because we're talking about safety, but we're also talking about beautification. We have the most beautiful, potentially, capital in the world. We always had. But people come from Iowa, they come from Indiana, they come and then they get mugged. Not going to happen. Keep coming, because by the time you get your trip set, it's going to be safe again, and it's going to be clean very quickly. We're going to replace the medians that are falling down all over the roads. We're going to replace the potholes. We're going to put a nice new coat of asphalt over the top. No, we don't have to rip the road out and spend 7 years building a new road because they cut everything. Because some designers said, well, we need a 1/4 inch more turn for safety reasons. No, we're going to do it right. We're going to get it done quickly.
We're going to have some sinkholes.
So today we're declaring public safety emergency in the District of Columbia. And Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's fantastic, is taking command of the Metropolitan Police Department as of this moment. And I'll be making the appropriate notifications to Congress and to the mayor, our new DEA administrator, who's one of the top in the country. He better be Terry. If you're not, I'm going to get rid of you so fast. Terry Cole. Terry, thanks. Very good. We just got him. Most highly recommended person. And you'll be designated as the interim federal commissioner of the Metropolitan Police Department. Okay? And you run them tough. They're good. You have a lot of good people. You have people that shouldn't be there. You also have people that shouldn't be there. They got in there because of woke. But you have a lot of great police. And those people are the ones that want to help you. This city will no longer be a sanctuary for illegal alien criminals. We will have full, seamless, integrated cooperation at all levels of law enforcement, and we'll deploy officers across the district with an overwhelming presence. You'll have more police, and you'll be so happy because you'll be safe. When you walk down the street, you're going to see police, or you're going to see FBI agents. We're going to have a lot of agents on the streets. And you're going to have a lot of essentially military, and we will bring in the military if it's needed, by the way. We're going to have National Guard. But Pete Hegseth will tell you about it. We will bring in the military if needed. People say, oh, that's so terrible. He's going to bring in, it's been used many times over the years. I don't think we'll need it. I think we've got so many great people, including the people that are in the police department with proper leadership. They'll immediately begin massive enforcement operations targeting known gangs, drug dealers, and criminal networks to get them the hell off the street, maybe get them out of the country, because a lot of them came into our country illegally. They shouldn't have been allowed in. They come from Venezuela. They come from all over the world. We're going to get them the hell out. They won't be here long. But some of these people, a lot of them, are homegrown criminals. And these are bad people. These are rough people. And this is just a list of some of the people that were given to me today that were criminals removed from the D.C. streets this weekend. They were rough and tough. But we're rougher and tougher. Look at these people here. Nothing, you know. They're not going to be your local school teacher.
Oh.
Look at this guy. He has killed people numerous times. They're not going to be an asset. They will never be an asset to society. I don't care. I know we all want to say, oh, they're going to be rehabbed. It's not going to be rehabbed. I'm going to ask Doug Burgum to come up and say a couple of words because he's in charge, as you know. He's Interior, but he's in charge of the U.S. Park Police. And I've heard so many great things about the Park Police. They're proud of it. They've been there for a long time. Their families oftentimes grow into the roles. They love the country. They love this area. So, Doug, could you say a few words, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the U.S. Park Police, this is the oldest federal police force in the nation. They were formed in 1791 by none other than President George Washington. They've got the awesome responsibility of protecting our nation's most sacred monuments. In the National Mall, Washington Monument, Jefferson Memorial, Lincoln Memorial, Statue of Liberty, and out west, the Presidio and the Golden Gate area. These folks have tens of millions of visitors a year, the kind of people that President Trump's talking about that come from around the country and around the world to see our sacred and learn about our history and our sacred monuments. They've been doing a fantastic job, but they are so pleased, the rank and file, that President Trump is now allowing them to enforce the law. As those of you that live in the city may know, that the circles and the triangle parks that are spread throughout D.C. are actually federal park property. So the U.S. Park Police also have responsibility for that. These became littered with homeless camps under the Biden administration. All of you saw that. Since President Trump's executive order on March 27th, making D.C. safe and beautiful again, the U.S. Park Police have removed over 70 homeless camps. And President Trump also talked about beautification. They're stopping and enforcing the laws against graffiti on our monuments. They've removed over 80 specific attacks against our history with graffiti on our monuments. So they continue to do a great job, whether it's in their vehicles, on foot, or on the mounted police that you see around the National Mall. And President Trump, they thank you. The rank and file is so happy to be enforcing the law again. Thank you for your leadership. And they're excited about the announcement you're making today.
Thank you. Very good. Great job you're doing. Thank you very much. Pete, could you say something about the military, if you would?
Well, Mr. President, it's an honor to be here. And at your direction this morning, we've mobilized the D.C. National Guard. It'll be operationalized by the Secretary of the Army, Dan Driscoll, through the D.C. Guard. You will see them flowing into the streets of Washington in the coming week. At your direction as well, sir, there are other units we are prepared to bring in. Other National Guard units, other specialized units. They will be strong, they will be tough, and they will stand with their law enforcement partners. This is nothing new for DOD. As the President noted, at the border, we've got 10,000 troops down there who've been operating in defense cooperation areas, defense zones, where there's zero illegal crossings because of troops on strikers scanning the border. We've been protecting other people's borders for 20 years. It's about time we protect our own, and we're working with ICE and CBP. In Los Angeles, we did the same thing, working with the California National Guard, working with ICE officers. ICE officers deserve to do their job and not be attacked. We will work alongside all DC police and federal law enforcement to ensure this city is safe, this city is beautiful, and as I always say about President Trump to the troops, he has their back. And my message to the National Guard and federal law enforcement in Washington is, we have your back as well. Be tough, be strong, we're right behind you. Thank you, Mr. President.
I'm going to ask Pam, because she's now, as you heard me say, she's really in charge of a lot of what we're talking about. She's done an incredible job. People are going to start to see the fruits of her labor. And Pam, maybe you could say a few words about what we're talking about here.
Better make sure I don't flip this one. Fall.
Let me be crystal clear. Crime in D.C. is ending and ending today. We are going to use every power we have to fight criminals here. President, thank you for caring about our capital. Families come here every summer. Our museums are free. We have the National Zoo. We have the National Gallery. DC should be a place where everyone can come and feel safe. Behind me and to my side, we have some of the best career law enforcement and prosecutors in the country who are ready to take this on. As the president said, Terry Cole is going to be supervising the Metro Police Department. Gadi Serralta, our U.S. Marshal, is going to be supervising command and control, the entire operation. Our Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, and I will be working with them closely, along with our great FBI Director, Kash Patel. Kash is going to talk to you in a minute about what we did in Virginia recently with Governor Youngkin. Many of you covered that, and it was tremendously successful. Not only that, our secret weapon here in D.C. is U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, one of the toughest prosecutors and a former judge, and she is going to be talking about juvenile crime, how it's out of control here, and what she's going to do to fight back. No more crime rampant in our beautiful capital. No more teenage girls beating a disabled man to death. No more of that. No more drive-bys. We're going to do everything we can. And working with the ATF Director Driscoll and Commander of the Army, we're going to all work together. That's what we all do in this room. We work together, we fight. Do not underestimate one person in this room. We're going to make DC beautiful. We're going to make DC safe again. One other thing, just at the wharf a few days ago, the area of the wharf, Terry Cole reached out to me, not even nightfall, on the weekend, where so many families in tourists go. A guy's overdosing from fentanyl on a park bench. In the middle of families around, they administer Narcan and saved his life. No more of that. The President of the United States is going to clean up D.C., and we're going to be there to help him, and we're going to be successful.
Where are you going to put him, though? Where are they going to go? I get high and overdose in privacy.
Hospital! Big success.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for your leadership, Deputy Attorney General, and the rest of our interagency partners. Mr. President, the following is what happens when you let good cops be cops, and I just want to highlight that before I get into Northern Virginia. This year alone, under President Trump's administration, we've had over 4,000 child victims identified and found. That's a 33% increase from the same time period last year. 33% increase. We've had a seizure of 1,500 kilograms of fentanyl up to this date. That is a 25% increase since the same time period last year. And just to put it in perspective, 1,500 kilograms of fentanyl is enough to kill 115 million Americans. 115 million Americans. Cops are getting after it. The FBI has arrested 19,000 people this year alone. Thanks to President Trump's administrations, that's double than where we were this time last year. And we have also arrested 1,600 people who have committed violent acts against children. 270 of them are human traffickers of children. Mr. President, this is what happens when you have great leadership at the Attorney General with Pam Bondi, your administration's priority of protecting the homeland and protecting American citizens and protecting our children, and the murder rates are plummeting. We are now able to report that the murder rate is on track to be the lowest in U.S. history, in modern recorded U.S. history, thanks to this team behind me and President Trump's priorities. And how do we do it? And what are we going to bring to D.C.? What we did in Northern Virginia, thanks to Terry Cole and Governor Youngkin and the team, we stood up a task force out in my Northern Virginia field office, and we said, let's let good cops be cops, let's get them the intelligence and what they need, and let's get the red tape out of their way, and let's get DOJ partnered up with us to bring great prosecutions, and that's exactly what we did. In 1 month, we arrested 545 violent felons. 545 in the state of Virginia, thanks to Governor Youngkin's partnership. And that simplicity in law enforcement is what's coming to Washington, D.C. When you let good cops be cops, when you give them the intel they need, when you work with our Homeland Security Task Force, when you work with Terry and Gaddy and I go way back to Miami, these guys are great leaders of the respective departments and law enforcement capacities. And when you have the DOJ and President Trump driving behind this mission, we are going to clean up Washington, D.C., and we're going to do it the right way, the lawful way, and we're going to make sure Washington, D.C. is safe again. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Attorney General.
Thank you very much. Good job. Thank you, Cash. So the process begins right now. It actually started over the weekend, and we confronted a lot of very bad people. But it's going to be something that will be pretty amazing to you as you watch it. And I think most of you say it's a beautiful thing to do it right. We're going to be removing homeless encampments from all over our parks, our beautiful, beautiful parks, which now a lot of people can't walk on. They're very dirty, got a lot of problems. But we've already started that. We're moving the encampments away, trying to take care of people. Some of those people, we don't know how they even got there. Some of those people are from different countries, different parts of the world. Nobody knows who they are. They have no idea, but they're there. We're getting rid of the people from underpasses and public spaces from all over the city. There are many places that they can go, and we're going to help them as much as you can help. But they'll not be allowed to turn our capital into a wasteland for the world to see. The Metropolitan Police Department and the federal authorities will be supported in the effort, a really big effort, the 800 D.C. National Guardsmen that we'll put on, and much more if necessary, much more. You remember I said, I offered 10,000 once. Remember I said to a certain person, who I thought always was highly overrated, not very competent, but I said, if you need them, we'll give you 10,000 of the military or the National Guard. They turned me down. But if necessary, we're going to move service members directly to joining the Guardsmen. And that'll take place very rapidly, and that'll be done in conjunction with Pam and with Pete and everybody else. Washington, D.C. should be one of the safest, cleanest, and most beautiful cities anywhere in the world. And we're going to make it that. We're going to make it safe. We're going to make it smart. We're going to make it beautiful, so beautiful. Some of the buildings, we're going to add to it. You see what we've done at the White House. White House is a whole different building. I do that in my part-time because it's a natural instinct as a real estate person. I was very good at that, and I was very good at fixing things up. I like fixing things up. You see what's happening. The marble floors are being reinstalled, renovated, fixed. The whole place is becoming very beautiful. We're going to be adding a magnificent ballroom, most beautiful ballroom, I think, anywhere. We need it. I would have certainly loved to have had it today. I think we would have filled it up. A lot of you are standing outside, can't get in this room. I have never seen the room like this, which tells me that you want to talk about, I mean, this was a D.C. news conference. It tells me that you want to talk about crime in D.C. and beautification of D.C., but I'm going to put that's easy. And I think, frankly, fixing the crime with the pros, fixing the crime is easy, too. A person who I've known for a long time, and she's been incredible. She was a fantastic, one of the best ever district attorneys in New York. She was in Westchester, and she became a judge, very successful judge. And then she went into showbiz because she was such a good DA and such a good judge, tough judge, but fair, always fair. Nobody ever complained about that, but she was tough. And because of that and her reputation, she went into showbiz. So a lot of people don't, they think of Janine as showbiz. Actually, showbiz was not her thing. And she did great. She was on, along with a couple of other of my friends, on the #1 show. And she did great. But this is what she loves doing. This is really her baby. What she's going to do is going to be incredible. And I'd like to speak for just a few seconds on what she has in mind, what she wants to do. We're going to be appointing some judges. You know, we have some open spots, and we're going to take people, because the judges are letting killers out. They just say, go, that's okay, don't worry about it. So we're putting some, Pam recommended, Todd recommended, some judges that are great. Janine recommended. Janine's given me 3 great candidates already. We have about 10 open spots, so we could probably create some more. We need them. Janine, would you say a few words, please?
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you, Madam Attorney General, and to all my partners here. We all want the same thing. We all want a safe city. We want a safe capital. We want to be able to bring our families here. We want to be able to come and enjoy the history that makes this place great. And unfortunately, we are not in that position right now. And Mr. President, I want to thank you for taking the step that we need right now to make criminals understand that they are not going to get away with it anymore. And I'm not going to stand here and go over and over the cases. But what I can tell you is this. I see too much violent crime being committed by young punks who think that they can get together in gangs and crews and beat the hell out of you or anyone else. They don't care where they are. They can be in DuPont Circle, but they know that we can't touch them. Why? Because the laws are weak. I can't touch you if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you have a gun. I convict someone of shooting another person with an illegal gun on a public bus in the chest. Intent to kill? I convict him. And you know what the judge gives him? Probation. Says you should go to college. We need to go after the D.C. Council and their absurd laws. We need to get rid of this concept of, no cash bail. We need to recognize that the people who matter are the law-abiding citizens. And it starts today. But it's not going to end today, because the president is going to do everything we need to do to make sure that these emboldened criminals understand we see you, we're watching you, and we're going to change the law to catch you. And my final note is this. These kids understand that the jurisdiction is through the State Attorney General, Brian Schwab. I did a poster of the young man from Doge who was beaten bloody with a severe concussion, a broken nose. And then I did a poster of what happens to those kids, because I can't arrest them, I can't prosecute them. They go to family court, and they get to do yoga and arts and crafts. Enough. It changes today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Great job.
Okay, wait, Mama. Uh-oh.
If I could, I just signed some executive orders. I'd like to have Will please come up, and we'll let the people know what we signed. Do you want to put them down?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
No,
a short while ago in the Oval Office, President Trump signed 2 crucial executive actions to deal with the emergency crime conditions we currently face in the District of Columbia. The first of these was an executive order, as President Trump said before, invoking his powers under Section 40 of the Home Rule Act to take federal control of the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. Along with that executive order, President Trump signed the statutorily required notification letters to Mayor Bowser and to the relevant House and Senate committee leaders. The second major executive action that President Trump signed was a presidential memorandum directing the Secretary of Defense to utilize the National Guard to address the conditions we see on our streets here in D.C. It also authorized the Secretary of Defense to work with state governors to utilize their National Guard units if necessary as well. These are bold, decisive steps intended to combat the out-of-control crime conditions we've seen on D.C.'s streets for far too long, and I, for one, am deeply proud to be part of an administration that's finally coming to terms with these issues, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Thank you. So, just to conclude, Washington, D.C. should be one of the safest, cleanest, most beautiful places anywhere in the world. It was years ago. We had one problem that was a pretty big problem. The radical left got out of control and they started trying to rip down statues. And I said, let's go pass a law real fast. We're going to do it real fast. But we were blocked by the Democrats who do not want safety. Nobody gets it. I don't get it. They don't get it because they can't get votes. I don't know how they can win an election with this, but they don't want safety. And I found an old statute, very old, early 1900s, that said if you so much as touch or even think about destroying a statue or a monument in Washington, D.C., you go to jail for 10 years with no probation, no anything. In other words, slightly different than we have today. Today we have cashless bail. There you get jailed 10 years. No curtailed sentence, 10 years. And we took it out. Nobody used it. It was never used because, you know, it's harsh. And you remember they started to rip down the statue of Abraham Lincoln. I said, that's a tough one to rip down. He was pretty good, Pam. I think he was pretty good. When the ropes started going around Abraham Lincoln to pull him down, Andrew Jackson, others, and they were heading to the Jefferson Memorial, Thomas Jefferson. They're going to do a big number there. I said, it's time. And I signed that statute immediately. We had it updated. We made it use the same language, all passed by Congress. And I announced it's 10 years in jail, no probation, no anything, 10 years, no curtail sentence if you touch, so much as touch a statue in Washington, D.C. And it was an amazing sight, beautiful sight. Everybody just left. The ropes were hanging around Andrew Jackson, and there were 2 ropes around Abraham Lincoln. They left the rope, but everybody just left. And that was the last problem we ever had. You know, that was the last problem that we ever had with the statues. They were going wild, and somebody came to me and said, sir, in 1910,
Pam,
I don't want to give you an
baby.
exact because you'll
Tie
say
for last night.
Donald Trump gave us wrong dates around like early on. You know, if I'm slightly off, they make you sound a little bad. So I won't put myself in that position. I won't put you in that position because I think everybody agrees with what we're doing today. But when I signed that thing, it was like a miracle. Everybody left. They were gone. They were starting to march down. They started the march toward Thomas Jefferson. And I figured he was always going to be safe. But they found something with him, and they found something with Abraham Lincoln. And even in the name George Washington in California, numerous places changed the name of George Washington High School and various other places. They took George Washington's name. This was a sick, woke culture that I think we've largely ended. And a lot of those people that were woke are now turning out to be the opposite. I won't go so far as to say MAGA. It's a very special category. But they've gotten out of that. But we have people that love this country, and they love this really beautiful capital. It is. I flew over it the other day, and I said, what a beautiful place. But if there's crime all over the streets, when you get there, it doesn't look so beautiful. But we're going to make it beautiful again. We're going to fix it with crime, and we're going to also, as we're doing that, we're going to start doing things that we know how to do, that I know how to do better than anybody, I guess, because of my experience from previous life. But not only are we stopping the crime, we're going to clean up the trash and the graffiti and the grime and the dirt and the broken marble panels and all of the things they've done to hurt this city. And we're going to restore the city back to the gleaming capital that everybody wants it to be. It's going to be something very special. All of these people are really tough. Could I shake your hand, Gaddy, please? You're going to be so important here. You're going to be that guy. I hope I don't have to fire him in 2 weeks because he's too soft. I don't think he's too soft. If I do, I will, though. Is it okay if you're soft, weak, and pathetic like so many people? I will fire you so fast. You're not going to have to worry about that. No, I think you're going to do a fantastic job. And everybody in this room, they may not express it, but they all want that to happen. You know, they want to be safe, and they have families too. So it's an honor to have such a large group. I've done this for years now, hard to believe, I've never seen this room so packed. In fact, I'm sure it's a violation of every fire code. But we'll let you stay anyway. You're taking a chance. And with that, we'll say, maybe if you could, oh, wow. We could be here all day long. If we could keep the first questions, perhaps, to this subject, and then we'll go on to a few others. Please.
Mr. President, thank you so much. Can you talk about how personal of an issue this is? You talked about flying over the Washington Monument and seeing the pride of what D.C. is, and do you believe that the status of the city, the cleanliness, the way that crime is low, is a direct reflection on how the country is run?
Yeah, I do. I think the Capitol, look, everyone comes here. They're all coming. All the leaders, they're all wanting to come. And I say it, I've said it again, but I'm really just quoting other leaders from NATO, from the Middle East, King of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE. I was over there. We brought back $5.1 trillion of investment into our country. But I was, a month and a half ago, I was at NATO. We had a great thing. They agreed to put up 5% instead of 2%. 2% they didn't pay, 5% is already paid. We had a great meeting, and they all said the same thing. They said our country was dead. They thought our country was gone. 1 year ago, they said your country was dead. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We do. We have the hottest country in the world right now. The tariffs have helped. It's given us not only the money, it's billions, trillions of dollars of money, but it gives us great power over enemies. We solved 5 wars with Pakistan and India. We just solved one. Azerbaijan and, as you know, and Armenia. A war was raging for 37 years. And the 2 leaders got up and they said, we never thought this would be solved. Russia tried to solve it. They all tried to solve it. It was a very tough situation, but we got it done and got it done. And I said to the 2 men, I said, are you guys friends? And they had a hard time. You know, they've been killing each other for 37 years.
Tell them about our baby we made.
One was there 5 years, one was there for 22 years. He said, my whole life I've been fighting this war. And you got it solved. But we did many of those. We did in the Congo and Rwanda. That's been going on for 30 years. 8 to 9 million people killed that they know of, but it was raging, and we got that solved. We got a lot of them done. It's a great honor. But you want to have, when they come, the leaders come to our country to sign documents that the war is over or whatever, or for other reasons. They come for trade. And you want them to come through so beautifully. You ride down those roads, everything should be perfect. You shouldn't have medians falling down into the roadway. Median, you know, the metal things that are always, somebody had a great lobbyist, because I've never seen them look good. I've been looking at those things with the little, right? They're always broken and bad, but here they're really bad. And we're going to either put new or fix it. And it's not expensive. It's not really expensive. And we're going to fix our roads a little bit. We're going to clean up our sidewalks. You have countries where every Saturday, the people go out and they wash their sidewalks in front of their stores or their houses. They scrub their sidewalks. So we aren't quite at that level yet, I don't think. Gaddy, we're not quite there yet, but maybe we will. They go out and they scrub. I think it's so beautiful to hear that and to see those stories. But we're going to make it clean. But just to finish with your question, it's a very, very strong reflection of our country. And when they see a bad city, you know, my father always used to tell me, I had a wonderful father, very smart, and he used to say, son, when you walk into a restaurant and you see a dirty front door, don't go in. Because if the front door is dirty, the kitchen's dirty also.
Yeah, true.
Same thing with the Capitol. If our Capitol's dirty, our whole country is dirty. And they don't respect us. So it's a very good question, actually.
Mr. President, sorry. Question for you on this specific issue. Do you expect more cities to follow DC's path if this goes through? So the idea is that Chicago, LA, San Francisco, would they expect similar action to what we've seen in DC? And the other question, sir, There's reporting that the administration is going to reclassify marijuana. Would that send mixed messages that if marijuana is okay, drugs are
Not
some
the
drugs are
weed.
okay, but we're trying to clean up crime? How do they go hand in hand?
We're only looking at that. That's early, but somebody reported it, which is
Okay.
fine. We're looking at it. Some people like it. Some people hate it. Some people hate the whole
Classifying it to
concept
what?
of marijuana because if it does bad for the children, it does bad for people that are older than children. But we're looking
less
at
dangerous.
reclassification, and we'll make a determination over the
What
next.
y'all
I would say
think?
over the next few weeks.
More weed for people?
And that determination hopefully will be the right one. It's a very complicated subject, the subject of marijuana. I've heard great things having to do with medical, and I've had bad things having to do with just about everything else. But medical and, for pain and various things, I've heard some pretty good things. But for other things, I've heard some pretty bad things. The other part of your question, I mean, we're just going to see what happens with it all. You're going to have, we're going to have a tremendous success in what we're doing. Other cities are hopefully watching this. They're all watching, just like everyone's watching here. They're all watching, and maybe they'll clean up, and maybe they'll do this and get rid of the cashless bail thing and all of
Thank you
the
for the
things
membership,
that caused
buddy.
the problem. I mean, if you go back, this whole thing with cashless bail is a disaster. So
Cocaine's
many
next.
problems came that we never had before. So they're watching us today, and if they don't learn their lesson, if they haven't studied us properly, because we're going to be very successful. I have zero doubt about that. It's going to be. It's a question of will it be really fast, like the border. Everyone said they used to say Biden used to say, "I need legislation. I didn't get any legislation. I called up our people, and we did a great job. Tom Homan was great. As you know, our secretary did a great job. They did a great job. There's no games. They didn't play games. And we're going to have the same thing here. But then I'm going to look at New York in a little while. Let's do this. Let's do this together. Let's see. It's going to go pretty quickly. And if we need to, we're going to do the same thing in Chicago, which is a disaster. We have a mayor there who's totally incompetent. He's an incompetent man. And we have an incompetent governor there. Pritzker's an incompetent. His family threw him out of the business, and he ran for governor. And now I understand he wants to be president. But I noticed he lost a little weight, so maybe he has a chance. You never know what happens. But Pritzker's a gross incompetent guy, thrown out of the family business. But when I look at Chicago and I look at L.A., if we didn't go to L.A. 3 months ago, L.A. would be burning like the part that didn't burn. If he would have allowed the water to come down, which I told him about in my first term, I said, you're going to have problems. Let it come down. We actually sent in our military to have the water come down into L.A. They still didn't want it to come down after the fires. But that was it. We have it coming down. But hopefully L.A. is watching. That mayor also. The city's burning. They lost like 25,000 homes. I went there the day after the fire. You were there, and I saw people standing in front of a burned down home. It was, their homes were incinerated. They weren't like, even the steel was literally, it was all warped and literally disintegrated because of the winds and the flame and the whole thing. It was like a blowtorch. They were standing on this beautiful day, maybe a couple of days after. We gave it a little time because what they had suffered. Almost 25,000 homes. And you see what's happening now. They didn't give their permits. I went to a town hall meeting. I said, we're going to get you the federal permits, which are much harder. Almost immediately. Lee Zeldin is a star. He did an incredible job. They have all their federal permits. They don't have their city permits. And the mayor said to me, we think we could have them in 2 years. I was walking down the street, and I met with firemen and police. And I was saying hello to many people that were standing in front of their homes with yellow tape. You can't go in. You can't go onto the lot. And those people wanted to start rebuilding their homes then and there. And the mayor said, we should be able to get them the permits within 2 years. I said, that's a shame. 2 years? Are you kidding? I'm going to get them the federal permit like almost immediately. 2 years. And she drew it back. Well, maybe 1 year. The place was booing her out of the place. They don't have their permits to build their homes. And now they're talking about putting, this is among the most beautiful areas in the country. Now they're talking about putting low-income housing there. Can you believe this?
Is that true?
I love low-income housing. I made money with low-income housing. I built low-income housing. I know more about low-income housing and luxury housing. I know about everything real estate. They want to replace some of those homes with low-income housing. They haven't gotten their permits yet. We've gotten all the federal permits, which are much tougher to get, and it was done almost immediately through Lee Zeldin and Federal Environmental. And I watched the other day, those people are angry. And now, you know, they had tremendous, they loved that area. They loved the whole big area, different places, but they loved it. It was all luxury stuff and beautiful stuff. And some wasn't that luxury, but the level of love for that neighborhood, their neighborhoods, was incredible. And you know what? I watched people on television, they want to go, they want to leave. They've lost their spirit, they've lost their heart, because the mayor's incompetent. And Gavin Newsom is incompetent.
Newsom.
Got a good line of bullshit, but that's about it. He's incompetent. And you have Los Angeles is, you know, it's amazing. You know, I called, the first thing I did, I got the Olympics to go there. I was the one that got it. And by a rare thing that happened, I'll be the president. I was very upset because I got the Olympics there, and I said I won't be president when it comes. But bad things happened, and illegal things happened, really illegal things happened. Now it turns out one good thing was I'm going to be the president for the Olympics for 2050, for 250, which is going to be fantastic, and also for the World Cup. So we have a lot of good things, and I hope 250 is going to be, the 250th anniversary is going to be the best. But when I looked at those people, and I saw last night on television that they still don't have their permits, it's a disgrace what's happened in Los Angeles.
Yeah, thank you. The China tariff deadline is tonight. Do you plan to extend that?
We'll see what happens. China's been, we've been dealing very nicely with China, as you probably have heard. They have tremendous tariffs that they're paying to the United States of America. And we'll see what happens. They've been dealing quite nicely. The relationship is very good with President Xi and myself.
President, you mentioned your upcoming meeting with President Putin. Can you tell us what you hope to get out of that and whether you'll consider inviting President Zelensky to join?
So you have to understand, this is a war that should have never happened. This is a war that wouldn't have happened if I were president. It would have never happened. It was the apple of his eye. I got along very well with President Putin. But if you look, under President Bush, they took a lot of territory. Under President Obama, they took a lot of territory. Under Biden, they essentially took the whole thing. You know, it's just a question of time. Under Trump, you know what they took? Nothing. Nothing. I was the one that said, you can't build your pipeline. That was half built. I came in, I stopped the pipeline. It's called Nord Stream 2. Nobody knows that, you know. Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2. You might have not even heard it. Biggest pipeline in the world. I stopped it. I was not a friend of Russia, but I got along well with Putin. It's always good to get along with other countries if possible, but that doesn't mean you roll over like Biden did. Biden came in and he immediately approved the pipeline. I couldn't believe it. Then they say Trump wasn't tough on Russia. I wasn't tough. I was the toughest. Putin said, if you're not tough, I would hate like hell to see you. I stopped the biggest economic development job, the biggest job that Russia had ever built. I stopped it. It was dead. And this low IQ president came in and he let them build the pipeline and supply oil and gas all over Europe, you know? So this is really a feel-out meeting, a little bit. And President Putin invited me to get involved. He wants to get involved. I believe he wants to get it over with. Now, I've said that a few times, and I've been disappointed because I'd have like a great call with him, and then missiles would be lobbed into Kiev or some other place, and you'd have 60 people laying on a road dying. I said, that's cold, but it's a violent war. 5,000 to 7,000 people a week are dying. And you know, there's nobody from here. They're all Russian and Ukrainian people, and some people from the cities, much smaller number, but still, those missiles do damage and they kill a lot of people, but mostly soldiers. And they're young soldiers, although in the case of Ukraine, they're getting much older. They're drafting 60-year-olds now. It's a terrible thing to witness, and I think I have an obligation. Look, this is Joe Biden's war. This is not my war. I made a deal with NATO a month ago. You covered it very accurately, actually. We don't pay anything anymore. You know, we're not paying anything. They are buying things from us, and NATO is paying us. I got it raised from 2% of GDP to 5%. and they're paying us for everything that we send. We're not paying. But Biden approved $350 billion. Europe has spent $100 billion. The money that's been spent and the death is incredible. It's the worst thing that's happened, by far the worst that's happened since World War II. So I'm going in to speak to Vladimir Putin. And I'm going to be telling him, you got to end this war.
We got to go, baby. We got to go.
And he wasn't going to mess with me. This war would have never happened. You know, we had a discussion about it one time, and we never had that discussion again. Would have never happened. And when the election was rigged, and then Biden took office, which was barely took office, the auto pen took office, bad things started happening. Bad things, stupid things were said. And it ended up in a war. And you know, and I don't believe this will happen anymore because I have that pretty well covered. This could end up in a third world war. This could have been a third world war. I don't think that's going to happen now. But I thought it was very respectful that the president of Russia is coming to our country as opposed to us going to his country or even a third party place. But I think we'll have constructive conversations. Then after that meeting, immediately, maybe as I'm flying out, maybe as I'm leaving the room, I'll be calling the European leaders who I get along with very well.
Call them, baby.
And, you know, I have a great relationship, I think, with all of them. And I get along with Zelensky, but, you know, I disagree with what he's done. Very, very severely disagree. This is a war that should have never happened, wouldn't have happened. But I'll be speaking to Zelensky. The next meeting will be with Zelensky and Putin, or Zelensky and Putin and me. I'll be there if they need. But I want to have a meeting set up between the two leaders. I was a little bothered by the fact that Zelensky was saying, well, I have to get constitutional approval. I mean, he's got approval to go into war and kill everybody, but he needs approval to do a land swap because there'll be some land swapping going on. I know that through Russia and through conversations with everybody to the good, for the good of Ukraine. Good stuff, not bad stuff. Also, some bad stuff.
Mother Russia.
It's good.
I love it, Mother Russia.
It's very complex because you have lines that are very uneven. And there'll be some swapping. There'll be some changes in land. And the word that they will use is, you know, they make changes. We're going to change the lines, the battle lines. Russia's occupied a big portion of Ukraine. They've occupied some very prime territory. We're going to try and get some of that territory back for Ukraine. But they've taken some very prime territory.
We're going to transfer right now, man. I hope y'all ready.
Ocean, you know, in real estate we call it oceanfront property. That's always the most valuable property.
Major breaking news right now. I hope you guys are ready. You know they're all moving on me right now.
It's always the best property. Well,
here we go.
Ukraine, a lot of people don't know that Ukraine was largely 1,000 miles of ocean.
Ukraine.
Other than one small area, Odessa. It's a small area. There's just a little bit of water left. So I'm going to go and see the parameters. Now, I may leave and say, good luck.